Oh, hey there, this is LD, and I'm going to show you the right way to create super custom text on objects in Bambu Studio, because the auto text generator in Bambu Studio, it's just clumsy. It doesn't give you the ability to adjust nuances with fonts. And if you're a designer with a good eye, you'll quickly realize that you need more control than what the font tool gives you. I'll just show you as a comparison. This is a file that I designed. Obviously, I painted some of the terrain, but this file right here, I imported as an SVG, and you can see it's got elements like it's kind of a little logo that I built. It just has the elevation and the name with these lines. So let me show you a comparison. If I click on the object and come up here to the text shape, click, I'm going to type in Lake Tahoe. I'm going to make it about size 10, and then I'm going to come down here and I'll just click on the object. I'm going to rotate it 270. I'll make it a little smaller, make it 8. I'll bring it right up here so you can take a look to compare the two. Do you see how there's a big gap between the T and the A? As a graphic designer, I want to make the gap smaller because it just looks strange. Smaller. And there's no way to adjust it. So if you're happy with stuff like that, then maybe this isn't for you. But if you want real control over your fonts, then you're going to want to import files as SVG. All right, so I'll show you how to import the SVG. First, you click on the object, then come up here to add. Lake Tahoe SVG, open. So right out of the gate, I want to make this about 1.5 millimeters deep. That's obviously the depth of the lettering. Bring the size way down. And I want to rotate it. It's better to use exact numbers just to make sure it's perfectly level. So 90-degree rotation. And then I'm going to click off of the object just to show. So basically it imported the file exactly how I wanted. Again, I fixed that kerning, and I have lowercase and uppercase with this line. That'd be pretty much impossible to create using the text tool that comes in Bambu Studio. So the next thing I want to show you is you can double click, and if you have join selected, this is basically an object that's going to be combined with this, and it's going to extrude out. If I change this to cut, it now sinks in, which is really cool. So deboss versus emboss. And here's a pro tip. If I cut this in, the color of it is going to show. So like this surface will be blue, but inside the lettering will be the color of the rest of the object. That can be kind of annoying. So if you want that to also be blue, the color that's around it, click join first. Then come over to objects, Lake Tahoe, right click, change filament, blue. Then if I come back here, double click and choose cut, now the deboss text is going to match this same color. All right, so one more cool feature that I want to show you is double click on this text. And let's just say I realized I wanted to make a change to this. Like I didn't like these lines anymore. Come to Illustrator where I created the SVG file, and you can see these are all a bunch of different designs that I created. This is the one that I'm using right now, and then I kind of iterated. I played around with a bunch of different variations for the elevation and the north and south legend, and I kind of came up to this one or this one. I like both of these. Let's just say I'm gonna try this one. So I'm going to select it, and then this is my SVG file that I'm using. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to paste in a new one. And when making an SVG file, you want to go to the artboard up here and fit to artwork bound. So I'm going to resave this. I'm going to go back to Bambu Studio. Now watch this. I'm just going to click right here, reload. So it updated. I'm going to bring the size back down. Part of the reason I did that was that I knew that that smaller text just wasn't going to print well. So I wanted to make something bolder that is going to handle the multicolor printing better. All right, I'm going to do one more thing just because I feel like this layout needs it. I took a screenshot of this and I went into Illustrator, and as you can see, here's my screenshot, and I did this text in Illustrator because it's way easier for me to design good typography and vector shapes, etc. in Illustrator. So I created a new file, back to Bambu Studio, click on the object, add lake markers, adjust the depth, bring the size way down. You can bring in multiple SVG files, so you don't have to do everything in one. You can create different elements and kind of like slowly elevate your layout. And there you have it. And again, that'd be pretty hard to do using the default text tool. And I'm going to do one more thing just as a bonus that I think will look really good. Bring in the file, rotate it 70, bring it way down. So this is basically like a pattern. In this case, it's meant to be like waves or kind of current, just to show that you can add layers on top of layers, which is cool for a few reasons. One is that if you don't like one of them, you can just turn it off or delete it, as opposed to having to start over. Now I have multiple vector files that I imported, all of which I designed in Illustrator to make sure they're all exactly how I wanted. And then also what's cool is I can come over here, and if I don't like these, you can delete them or whatever. The world of 3D printing, it's so amazing. I also think that the majority of people focus on creating these objects, but then when they bring in text or logos, they're not really coming to it with a critical design eye. I personally think it's really important to highlight the needs of obviously better typography, and ideally start doing some more creative implementations of logos and patterns. So again, I hope that gives you a good understanding of how to import SVG files and take control of adding logos and typography that's for a graphic designer or someone who has a critical eye for detail. And remember, deboss, emboss, kerning, leading. These are things that will make your project look way better, that are really important, and it's almost always overlooked. I want to say thanks for watching, and I hate saying this, but subscribe to the channel and drop me a message if this video helped you at all. And you can always check out some of my other videos here. Thank you.